Mondays are always the non-working days at Unicorn Insight, and that's why Mondays are usually spent in doing things which either add something to me or just help me rejuvenate. And what could be better than reading? And hence we are back with The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, the wonderful book which has changed so many lives. It's a practical yet very detailed book. Signed copy by Jack Canfield himself is what I have. I received it from him earlier this year when I met him for one of the very powerful seminars which was organized, and it was such a joy to meet Jack Canfield. So let's go to chapter 6. Become an inverse paranoid. How many of you are paranoids here? What is a paranoid? Paranoid is someone who is always panicking about something bad happening to them, and they feel that the world is out to get them. Something will always go wrong. And they are so skeptical about the world, about the people around them, that they they are operating on that. Unfortunately, most people are operating that on autopilot. And many people will even say that it is because these are the external situations. But understand that external situations are nothing but subconscious patterns. Because what we think are we doing are only conscious, is the conscious mind which is operating. But if external situations are terrible for you, it is your subconscious is operating on an autopilot. So that's the reason most people are paranoids. And now Jack Canfield says that be an inverse paranoid. So Stan Dale, who is founder of Human Awareness Institute and author of Fantasies Set You on Fire, Can Set You Free, says that I've always been the opposite of paranoid. I operate as if everyone is a part of a plot to enhance my well-being. What a powerful thought is that. My earliest mentor, W. Clement Stone, once described as an inverse paranoid. Instead of believing that the world was plotting to do him harm, he chose to believe that the world was plotting to do him good. Instead of seeing every difficult or challenge event as a negative, he saw it for what it could be, something that was meant to enrich him, empower him, or advance his causes. What an incredibly positive belief. Imagine how much easier it would be to succeed in life if you're constantly expecting the world to support you to bring you opportunity. Successful people do just that. In fact, there is a growing research that vibrations of positive expectation that the successful people give off actually attract to them the very experiences that believe they are going to get. Suddenly, obstacles and negatives are seen not as just example of "Gee, the world hates me," but as an opportunities to grow and change and succeed. Was there a time in your life where something terrible happened and that later became a blessing in disguise? Now, Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, says that every negative event contains within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. So when anything bad happens, I remember that everything ever happens to me has within it the seed of something better. I look for the upside than the downside. I ask myself, where is the greater benefit in this event? I'm sure you too can think of back several times when you thought what had happened was the end of the world. The trick is to realize that whatever you're going through now is going to turn out better in the future as well. So look for the lemonade in lemons. The more you begin to look for the good, the sooner and more often you will begin to find it. And if you take the attitude of that it's coming, the less upset and discouraged you will get while waiting for it. So Jack Canfield also says that use how do I use this experience to my advantage? Always keep saying that. When I meet clients in my one-on-one sessions or even in workshops, most of them feel that they are victims of circumstances. So many of them say that, I have a bad boss because of which I can't grow in career. Or in my family, there are people who are stopping me from doing that. My family doesn't support me. Or someone might say, I lost you. What are you talking about? I lost my job. What do I do now? I have responsibilities. And Jack Canfield talks about a time where he lost his job and he felt so frustrated and so angry about it. However, he just thought about how can things change for him and what is the blessing in this. And then he realized that he was offered a job which was something more contributing to his life, where he was told that work with children, and they gave him money, unlimited budget, ability to attend workshops, trainings. So basically, that's where he met his mentor, W. Clement Stone, who then introduced him to the success principles. Everything that you feel is a problem or an obstacle, what if it's an opportunity? I always say that, think when I was working in my corporate job, things had gotten really worse. And there was a time where I was really very happy with my job. Things were going well. I was getting, good pay. I was getting good work to do. I was being recognized by people. And then after that, a point came where everything just started dismantling. A lot of politics began. I was not given the due credit for all the work I did. And in fact, when, I was going through a very difficult time being a caregiver to my father, um, my company did not support me in that. On the other hand, they asked me that, oh, Ashwini, why are you taking so many leaves? Why are things not going? What is this? And there was clearly a reason, and I was going through a mental health breakdown because there was too much pressure at work. I was also being a caregiver to my father who had a surgery. And in spite of all of that, I did not get that support. Things started getting worse. I was moved to another department, which was not a contribution to my career. And I felt that that was not the profile which I was looking for. And at that point of time, I realized that if I don't resign, if I don't quit, I will be laid off. And that was a time I made a choice to resign. As I resigned, I was, had applied for 3 more jobs, and all the interviews went excellent. One person almost gave me an offer letter and said that, Ashwini, it will be an asset to have someone like you as a part of our organization with the experience you bring in, with the vision you bring in. But unfortunately, I didn't end up with that job because that company had to cut costs and they had to completely freeze the hiring. Right? Another company which I interviewed, it was a bank. Everything went well. I went till the last round, and then something just fizzled out because they did not get those approvals from it was a UK market position, and I was going to work with the London desk again. And, it was very similar to the role I had in my previous organization. But that job didn't come through. And at that point of time, for anyone, it would be a very difficult situation. Fortunately, I had enough savings, and because I was living with my parents, um, I did not have any obligations for that. So I was, whatever I was earning for myself. But having said that, having a job is not just about money. Most people also create a sense of identity with their job. For me, my job was my identity. For me, I was Ashwini Chube. I was a financial services, was someone working in an investment bank as a financial service company as a, associate or whatever it was. And I was like, okay, what is it? What is this whole thing about? Because everything just came crumbling down. And to add to that, I realized that one more thing which added to my not so good performance at my work, apart from, me having personal obligations, was that the machine on which I used to work, the computer, it started just not working well. And, Everything I did, all the work I did at the end of the day, although I would save it, the next day it would again be not saved. So I started delaying my deadlines. So everything around me was crumbling down. The best way to show is I could feel, everything was just crumbling down. My life was crumbling down. Who was I? What was my identity? Right? Because a lot of us have created our identity around what we call as the corporate achievements we have. We always, when I do networking meets now with, the women in my circle, I always tell them that introduce yourself without your job, without your profession, without your education, without you being someone's wife, mother, or daughter, and then tell me who you are. And most people go blank. They say, I don't know how to introduce myself, because most of us have been introducing ourselves saying that, okay, I am a software engineer working in this company, I'm an investment banker, or I am a consultant with this, I have an MBA in finance, I'm an engineer, or, to add more to it, a lot of us, especially women, also say that, okay, I'm a mother to a 7-year old and a 3-year old. And but who are you other than your profession? I'm a baker, a entrepreneur, I'm a life coach. But who are you if you're not a baker? And that is the time where people introduce themselves as, I'm someone who loves to read books. I'm someone who loves the nature. I'm someone who loves to maybe cook and experiment. I'm someone who likes to do research. Whatever it is, which is the core of you, is what you are. So every difficult experience, why did I tell you my story of my life? Because I wanted to tell you that, and I see so many people who feel that if they lose a job, it's end of the world, because their whole identity is around it. And when I talk about my ikigai or my life purpose workshops, I tell people that, what if losing your job is a blessing in disguise? What if a relationship not working out for you? What if you breaking up with someone? Maybe it was a long relationship and it was a beautiful one, but there was a time where it was over. And what if it is an opportunity for you to build something bigger, something better? What if, something which made you feel that, oh, things are not going so well? What if you had to move a city? I meet so many people who say that we had to move a city because the husband got job in some other city or another country, and they had to start from the scratch. And yeah, I know it can be very lonely. It can be very disappointing if all of a sudden you are moving to another country, and especially when you have kids, the kids are beginning a new life and you are beginning a new kind of a life. But what if that's an opportunity for you to create something greater? So Jack Canfield says that, how do I use this experience to my advantage? And W. Clement Stone says that when life hands you lemon, squeeze it and make lemonade. Look for opportunity in everything. What if you two were to greet every interaction in your life with a question, what the potential opportunity that is? Most people go in a downward spiral when they lose a job, or when a relationship doesn't work, or when something wrong happens, a business doesn't work. But I tell people that instead of spiraling down and going into the wrongness of you, this is what access consciousness taught me. We go into the wrongness of us and the wrongness of the situation. 99% of the people who meet me tell me that, Ashwini, I need to improve. And I tell them that you don't need to improve. Maybe you just need to acknowledge who you are and stop seeing it as a wrongness. What if that's your strength? Also, stop seeing the situation as a wrongness. And we use this beautiful tool, what's right about this I'm not getting, what's right about me I'm not getting. Whenever I go, something goes down, and maybe something doesn't work out well, or there have been times where I've announced for a workshop and no one shows up. And then I say, okay, what's right about this I'm not getting? And then I realize that, okay, this is not what people need right now. Maybe people need something else. And I keep asking the question, and maybe a new workshop comes up where just people enroll, and not just enroll, they come in flocks and they get breakthroughs. And they tell me that, Ashwini, this was exactly something I was looking at now. So what if there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with your product. There is nothing wrong with your services. There is nothing wrong with you as a person. When you read people talking about problems, they are only looking at themselves as a problem. They feel that they have done something wrong. And these are, I feel beautiful souls who have given their best, but yet haven't seen success the way they wanted to. And then they look at themselves, they compare themselves to other and say that something must be wrong with me. But friend, there is nothing wrong with you. In fact, you are magical, you are powerful. So the successful, super successful approach every experience as an opportunity. They enter every conversation with the idea that something good will come from it, and they know that what they seek and expect they will find. If you take the approach that good is not an accident, that everyone and everything that shows up in life there is a reason, and that the universe is moving you towards your ultimate destiny for learning, growth, and achievement, you will begin to see every event, no matter how difficult or challenging, as a chance for enrichment, advancement in your life. Make a small sign or poster with the words, what the opportunity that this is, and put it on your desk. Now we have beautiful softwares like Canva where you can make this and take a printout and put it over your desk. What's the opportunity that this is? So you'll be constantly reminded to look for the good in every event. You might also want to start each day by repeating the phrase, I believe the world is plotting to do me good today. I can't wait to see what it is and look for the opportunities and the miracle. And like Jack Canfield says, that Mark Victor Hansen, who was his partner and co author in Chicken Soup for the Soul, sees every encounter as an opportunity, and he teaches everyone to say, I'd like to be a partner on that. I can see many ways to expand your idea, reach more people, and sell more and make more money. That's how he became the partner of Jack Canfield. And he asked him, what are you up to? What are you excited about? I told him that I had decided to take all the motivational and inspirational stories that I had been using in my talks and put them into a book without all the prescriptions for living that most self help books contained. It would be just a book of stories and people could use it in any way. After I described the book to him, he said, I want to be a partner on this. I want you to help me write it. And he replied to Mark, that book is already half written. Would I let you be my partner at this stage? Well, a lot of stories you tell, you've learned from me. I have lots more you've ever heard. I can get stories from lots of other motivational speakers. I can help you market the book to people and places you have probably never thought of. As we continue to talk, I realized Mark would be a great asset to the project. He's the consummate salesperson, and his dynamic energy and tireless promotional style would be a huge plus. So we struck a deal that one conversation would be worth tens of millions of books, royalties, and licensing income to Mark. You see, what when you approach every encounter as an opportunity, you treat like an opportunity. Mark saw my book project. He sees every project he encounters as an opportunity. He approached the conversation from that perspective. The result has been a wonderful, profitable 12-year business relationship for us. How many of you know Jack Canfield? No, as in how many of you have heard about him? How many of you have heard about the book The Chicken Soup for the Soul? There are chances more people know about The Chicken Soup for the Soul than they know Jack Canfield. Right now, I personally attended his webinars and workshops and learned under him whatever bit I did. So that's the reason I know Jack Canfield as a speaker, as a coach, as a guide. Also, he is my mentor's mentor. So indirectly, he is my mentor too. But there are so many people when I say that, I attended this event, I learned under Jack Canfield, or I have, learned some things from Jack Canfield in, online experiences. People say, who's Jack Canfield? And I tell them, okay, Chicken Soup for the Soul. And then they say, yeah, we know. So the books you write, the talks you give create brand image for you. So Jack Canfield says God must have something better in store for me. And there he speaks about um, a person, a friend, or a co-client, co-worker named Peggy. And So there was something for which Jack was selected and Peggy was not. When he asked her how she felt about not being selected, she answered with a phrase that struck him. I have since then used many times in my life, and she smiled and said, Jack, I feel fine about it. It just means that God had something better for me. Her positive expectancy and her certainty that all was in divine order were an inspiration to everything you knew her. That is why church had grown so large. It was one of the core principles of her success. And that was your chapter 6, my friends. Become an inverse paranoid. Long before in 2017, I had written an article on being an inverse paranoid and people loved it. I'll be resharing this article in this post, but I hope you had a great time reading this book with me. Like I say, Mondays for me are a little relaxed. So here I'm sitting in my t-shirts and just thought of doing this the first thing in the morning. So have a fantastic Monday, guys, and sending you lots and lots of good vibes. I hope this video reaches to you and helps you understand life better. A lot of free content I create is for people who would like to explore and know what exactly is personal transformation, what exactly, Ashwini, do you do? And a lot of my work is based on this all wisdom which I have, I won't say collected is a very small word, which I have received from all my mentors in the past 12 years. That's what Unicorn Insight is all about. If you like this video, do share it with your friends, family, and know that even if you're struggling with life right now, know that there is something better for you which is coming your way. You just have to align your mindset. Before I close, one thing I always want to tell people is um, most people believe that life is on autopilot. A lot of people, when life throws difficulties at them, they think something is wrong with them. And that is the time a lot of people, when they approach me first, they approach me for a tarot reading. It's very interesting to see how human mind works. When they come for a tarot reading, they tell me that they have been to a few astrologers. And most people want predictions that something that everything is going to be fine. When they come for a tarot reading too, they come for, they ask, what's wrong with me? So here we are going again into the zone that something is wrong with me and something is wrong with my stars. But they do not change their mindset. Because if you can change your mindset, and how do you change your mindset? By doing consistent inner work, by reprogramming your subconscious mind. The tools I use usually in my services are like neuro linguistic programming, law of attraction, access consciousness. When I use these tools over a period of time, the people start thinking differently and they themselves make different choices. They themselves have more courage. And then they realize that everything that is happening to them externally, a bad boss, a bad co-worker, an evil mother-in-law, is nothing but their subconscious projections. And once they change that mindset, and once they do this inner work where they retrain themselves, they say that the evil boss becomes the most amazing mentor. The nasty co-worker becomes a friend who supports them on their life journey. And the evil mother-in-law becomes the most biggest supporter in the family who tells them that, better you do your work and I'll take care of everything in the house. And they say, I don't know how she's changed. No, friends, she didn't change. You changed. You decided to make new choices. You made a choice to reprogram your mind. And you decided to then create a new reality just by your thinking. You are the most powerful, the most potent superpower. Acknowledge that, accept that, and may you have a blessed day today, friends. Sending you so much good vibes your way. I'll see you in the next chapter of the book reading next week. Toodles!